Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we dive deep into a coin that many people overlook, a coin that has circulated through countless hands without anyone realizing its hidden legacy. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 2 pence from 1996, a coin that seems simple, modest, and ordinary, yet unfolds layers of history, craftsmanship, and mystery as rich as the metal it is forged from. As always, stay with me until the end, because the shocking value this coin has reached today will leave you speechless. Imagine holding a small, copper-plated steel coin between your fingers. At first glance, it appears just like the millions of 2p coins minted across the UK. Its familiar reddish tone catches the light, a warm reminder of the circulating coins of the 1990s, a period of transition, modernization, and subtle shifts within the British currency system. But what makes the 1996 2p coin so remarkable is not just the metal it is made from or the design etched upon it, but the world it was born into, the year, the monarchy, the minting changes, all combining to create a coin whose story is much larger than its size. The year 1996 sits in a unique place in British history. Queen Elizabeth II, already one of the longest reigning monarchs at the time, continued her steady presence on the throne. The nation she oversaw was evolving, technologically and culturally. The Royal Mint, with centuries of tradition behind it, also stood in a period of transition. It was around this time that changes began to take place behind the scenes, changes in production equipment, adjustments in materials, and small tweaks that would later become part of the newer decimal coinage story. The Elizabeth II portrait on the 1996 2 pence belongs to the third definitive portrait created by artist Raphael Maklauf. This portrait, introduced in 1985 and used until 1997, is known for its elegant and youthful depiction of the Queen. Maklauf intentionally created a regal and majestic representation, with more stylized features and a distinctive bowed diadem. Some critics at the time argued that the portrait was too idealized, but collectors today appreciate it for its beauty and iconic presence, and coins featuring this portrait have a timeless charm. Flip the coin, and you encounter the classic badge of the Prince of Wales, 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the motto, Ich dien, meaning, I serve. This emblem, steeped in centuries of heraldry, connects the coin to royal symbolism far older than the coin itself. The 2p design had long carried this emblem since the introduction of decimal currency in 1971, until being replaced in 2008 by the new Shield of Arms designs. This makes the 1996 issue part of the final stretch of the traditional 2p style that so many collectors cherish. But beyond the design lies the material story. Although earlier 2p coins were made from bronze, the Royal Mint transitioned to copper-plated steel in 1992. This change was subtle, but it marked a significant moment in British coinage history. Because copper prices rose globally, using solid bronze became impractical. Yet not all collectors realize that these copper-plated steel coins can behave differently over time. They can develop unique toning, show unusual magnetic properties, and sometimes present minting anomalies that make specific years or batches incredibly desirable among collectors. The 1996 2 pence coin belongs to this era. Copper-plated steel, minted with updated technology, and part of a time when the UK's coinage system was evolving toward efficiency and modernization. Some of these coins have been found with off-center strikes, die cracks, planchet errors, and misaligned features, making them extremely valuable if preserved in pristine condition. Even normal circulation coins from 1996 carry a certain charm because they represent a bridge between old and new ways of minting. But to truly understand why collectors chase after this particular year, you need to understand the role the Royal Mint played during the mid-1990s. Production levels fluctuated drastically depending on economic demand. Some years saw massive outputs, others went almost unnoticed. The 1996 issue, though not the rarest by mintage count, is part of several batches that show exceptional variations in tone, strike clarity, and metal behavior over time. This makes certain pieces from this year stand out in the market far more than expected, Imagine the journey of a single 1996 2-pence coin. It begins at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, where sheets of steel were plated in copper, struck with powerful press machines, and inspected by quality control teams. After passing inspection, these coins would be packed, shipped, and eventually released into circulation. From there, they entered the hands of millions, traveling through cafes, train stations, supermarkets, schools, pubs, and countless daily exchanges. Each coin lived 1,000 tiny stories, touching the lives of people who never considered them special. Some of these coins ended up in jars, drawers, piggy banks, and old tin boxes. Others were tossed aside, forgotten, or buried under years of saved pennies. But a few, a precious few, survived in exceptional condition, glowing with their original luster, displaying sharp details in the feathers, lettering, and royal portrait. These untouched survivors are the ones that collectors crave, the ones that auctions fight over, the ones that transform ordinary copper-plated steel into something of extraordinary value. Now picture the collectors themselves, those who search tirelessly through thousands of coins, those who inspect each rim, each letter, each tiny detail under magnification. For them, the 1996 2-pence holds more than just material worth. It represents the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovering a piece of history that stood unnoticed for years. It's a coin that rewards patience and passion. As the decades passed, more and more people began realizing that older coins from the decimal era were quietly becoming valuable. Numismatic communities started studying era coins, condition rarities, and year-based anomalies. As awareness grew, so did the demand. Suddenly, collectors began hunting for 1996 2p coins in uncirculated condition. Auction houses started listing top-grade specimens with surprising hammer prices. Videos on channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins sparked global curiosity, bringing attention to a coin many had forgotten. And it wasn't long before stories started emerging. Stories of individuals who found a 1996 2-pence in nearly mint condition among old pocket change, only to learn it was worth far more than 2 pence. Top 2. We're going to travel deep into the life of this coin, from its birth inside the Royal Mint to the collectors who now chase it with extraordinary passion. To understand the 2005 2-pence, you must first travel back more than 30 years, to 1971. When the United Kingdom pivoted its entire monetary system into decimalization. Everything changed. Old pence became new pence, shillings and florins stepped aside for modern designs, and the mint began introducing new coins that would eventually become symbols of everyday British life. The 2-pence, or 2p, was one of the first coins to emerge from this new era. Its arrival was practical, simple, and unglamorous, yet over time, this coin built a quiet legacy of its own. The story becomes even more fascinating when Queen Elizabeth II enters the scene. Her portrait, arguably the most reproduced royal image in modern world history, graces the obverse of the 2005 2-pence. But this portrait is not just any portrait. It belongs to the fourth major effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by machinist and sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. Released in 1998, this portrait marked a significant departure from earlier designs. For the first time, the Queen was depicted with greater realism, a more mature expression, and a bold, confident presence that reflected her growing stature on the world stage. This is the portrait that millions of British citizens recognized on their everyday coins through the late 1990s and well into the 2000s. By the time the 2005 2-pence was minted, the coin was already familiar to most people in the United Kingdom. It jingled inside pockets, rolled across counters, and filled jars and cupboards across the country. But while most people saw it as a tiny piece of loose change, coin experts noticed something different. The Royal Mint had begun transitioning from bronze to copper-plated steel starting in 1992, a shift that changed not only the coin's weight but also its magnetic properties. This meant that coins minted after this change, including those produced in 2005, had to meet very strict metallurgical standards to ensure durability, consistency, and longevity. Every 2005 2-pence had to be perfectly formed, perfectly plated, and perfectly struck. And yet, as with many coins from this era, Tiny variations, minting quirks, and limited mintage batches have created unexpected pockets of rarity, small groups of coins that, under certain conditions, become far more valuable than most people could ever imagine. But before we talk about rarity, value, or collector frenzy, we must explore the design of the coin itself. The reverse of the 2005 2p features an elegant and historically deep symbol, the badge of the Prince of Wales. 3 ostrich feathers rise gracefully from a coronet, with a flowing ribbon that bears the German phrase, Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem traces its lineage back hundreds of years, connecting the coin to medieval royal history, chivalric orders, and the enduring heritage of the monarchy. Few coins of such small value carry such powerful symbolism, and the 2005 2p is one of them. The Prince of Wales badge was originally chosen for the reverse of the 2p in 1971, but by 2005, its design had become iconic, representing tradition, continuity, and national identity. Every detail, every curve of the feathers, every line in the coronet was sharply engraved into the die used to strike the coin. Collectors admire this because coins that maintain sharp details after years of circulation are harder to find and far more desirable. Minting itself adds another layer of appeal. The 2005 2p was produced at the Royal Mint in Llantrisant, Wales, where the minting process combines state-of-the-art technology with centuries-old precision. The blanks were cut from sheets of steel, plated in copper to a consistency measured in microns, and then struck with immense pressure to imprint both the obverse and reverse designs. The moment a blank transformed into a coin took just milliseconds, yet perfection demanded that every step, temperature control, plating thickness, die pressure, and alignment, remained flawless. Any deviation, even the smallest one, could result in unique error coins. And in the world of numismatics, error coins can sometimes become legends. Although most 2005 2p coins entered circulation normally, a small number were preserved by collectors, coin dealers, and enthusiasts who recognized their long-term potential. This is why today, collectors often search through old collections, mixed bags of coins, and inherited boxes of loose change, hoping to find a well-preserved 2005 2p in mint or near-mint condition. A coin that appears ordinary to the untrained eye may be worth far more than expected, especially when evaluated under high-powered magnification by a professional grading service. The collector's world for the 2005 2p is driven by scarcity, condition, striking variations, and most importantly, the growing awareness that certain specific years of 2p coins, especially those minted during transitional periods, are becoming highly sought after. As more collectors enter the market, the demand for pristine examples rises. Many of these coins have already been lost, worn down, or discarded over the past 2 decades. That natural loss increases rarity over time, boosting the value of high-grade surviving examples. Now imagine someone finding a flawless 2005 2p coin. Crisp edges. Sharp feather lines. A bright copper sheen that refuses to fade. No dents, no scratches, no corrosion. A coin that looks like it was minted only yesterday. In the numismatic world, a coin like that becomes a magnet for collectors. It becomes the centerpiece of auctions, the topic of heated bidding wars, the subject of discussions among experts who understand how remarkable such a piece truly is. This is where things become even more interesting. In recent years, rare modern coins, especially those from the Elizabeth II series, have exploded in value. Collectors from the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, the Middle East, and Asia have all begun competing for specific dates, high-grade coins, and certified pieces with documented rarity. The market is no longer local. It is global. And global demand changes everything. This surge has drawn attention towards small denomination coins like the 2005 2p, which were once ignored but are now celebrated as hidden gems. For experienced collectors, small coins represent opportunity, the chance to acquire rare pieces before the rest of the world recognizes their value. For new collectors, these coins offer an accessible entry point into the world of numismatics while still holding the potential for extraordinary returns. Now imagine you're a collector, flipping through your album, When your eyes land on this particular coin, you think of its history, its design, the precision of its minting, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II at the height of her reign, the royal symbolism embedded in the Prince of Wales badge. The year 2005, a time when modern Britain was settling into a new century yet deeply connected to its heritage. You realize this coin is more than a small piece of currency. It is a story, a symbol, a historical artifact, a tiny bridge connecting past and present. And for collectors across the world, that connection is priceless. But the real shock comes when you discover the market value. Serious collectors, determined bidders, and auction houses have placed astonishing valuations on the rarest, highest grade examples of this coin. Certified specimens graded at the very top, coins that show absolutely no signs of handling, have reached numbers that most people would never believe. Top 3. We embark on a journey through time, craftsmanship, and rarity, unraveling the mysteries that transformed an everyday circulation coin into one of the most watched, searched, and sought-after pieces of the 21st century. The year 2003 sits at an interesting crossroads in the modern British numismatic timeline. Queen Elizabeth II, already an icon of stability and continuity, had her portrait on countless denominations, but each coin told a different version of her reign. By 2003, the Royal Mint had mastered the balance between tradition and the subtle modernization needed for a new generation of currency. Although millions of 2-pence coins were minted that year, only a select few would emerge with enough intrigue to captivate collectors decades later. To understand why the 2003 issue stands out so strongly today, one must first grasp the deeper symbolism of the 2p coin itself. Originating in 1971 during the United Kingdom's monumental shift to decimalization, the 2-pence was more than just a new denomination. It represented Britain's embrace of a new, simplified monetary system. Gone were the days of farthings, florins, shillings, and crowns confusingly intertwined. Instead came the clean logic of base 10 currency, instantly more intuitive for modern trade. The 2p coin became a staple of daily transactions, but its enduring design ensured it never faded into obscurity. By 2003, the familiar crown badge of the Prince of Wales remained as proud as ever on the reverse of the coin. This emblem, steeped in centuries of royal tradition, features the plume of 3 ostrich feathers rising elegantly from a coronet. Below the feathers wraps the iconic motto, Ich diene, meaning, I serve, a phrase that resonates with loyalty, legacy, and dignity. For a coin so small, the symbolism is immense. Every stroke of the engraver's tool and every curve of the lettering reflects a narrative about monarchy, history, and national identity. The obverse of the 2003 2-pence bears the highly respected portrait by the talented artist Ian Rank Broadley. Introduced in 1998, this portrait showcases Queen Elizabeth II with remarkable realism, emphasizing maturity and strength rather than romanticized symbolism. Rank Broadley's interpretation marked a shift from idealized imagery to a more contemporary representation of the monarch, one that acknowledged her decades of service, grace, and endurance. This was the face Britain saw on their currency as the new millennium unfolded, making the 2003 series part of a pivotal moment in numismatic art. The minting process in 2003 adhered to the high standards long upheld by the Royal Mint, an institution with more than 1,000 years of history. Coins were struck with precision using hardened steel dies, each imprinting both sides with clarity and force. Copper-plated steel had, by this time, become the composition of the 2p coin, replacing the older bronze alloy. The shift to copper-plated steel allowed for increased durability and lower production costs, but it also introduced subtle variations in tone and magnetism that collectors today find intriguing. These nuances can sometimes affect a coin's appearance over time, creating slight visual differences even among coins struck in the same year. While most 2-pence coins from 2003 entered circulation unnoticed, a small number, those surviving today in pristine condition, have become extraordinary collector's items. What drives this growing fascination? Several factors intertwine to elevate the 2003 2-pence beyond mere pocket change. First, the appeal of condition cannot be overstated. Coins that somehow escaped the scratches, dents, and discoloration of circulation are now exceptionally scarce. With the passage of more than 2 decades, finding a 2p 2003 in mint state condition is akin to discovering a time capsule. The sharpness of the lettering, the crisp lines of the feathers, the flawless depiction of the Queen, these details make collectors' hearts race. High-grade coins command significant attention, with bidding wars erupting whenever a near-perfect sample surfaces. Second, the historical context of the early 2000s adds depth to the coin's desirability. Britain was navigating globalization, technological transformation, and cultural evolution. Queen Elizabeth II remained a stabilizing force through all of it, and her portrait on every coin minted during these years became an enduring symbol of continuity amidst change. The 2003 2p is therefore more than currency, it is a physical snapshot of that era's spirit. Third, the unpredictability of modern mint rarity plays a role. While the Royal Mint released millions of 2p coins in 2003, the survival of uncirculated and premium quality pieces is extremely low. Bulk circulation, handling, environmental exposure, and eventual withdrawal have trimmed their numbers drastically. Collectors now scour their old jars, drawers, albums, and inherited coin collections hoping to find that one untouched specimen. But beyond these practical reasons, there is another layer to the allure, a broader cultural fascination with small discoveries turning into monumental treasures. Stories of everyday coins selling for extraordinary amounts fuel the excitement, and the 2003 2p has become one of the most searched modern coins on the internet. This surge in popularity is not accidental. It has grown organically as collectors share their finds, enthusiasts upload videos, and channels like HD Ultra Rare Coins bring these hidden gems into the spotlight. And that is the magic of the United Kingdom's Elizabeth II 2p 2003. A coin of humble origins, elevated by time, condition, rarity, and story into a legendary masterpiece. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to join HD Ultra Rare Coins for more incredible discoveries, more astonishing stories, and more hidden treasures waiting to be revealed, because the next $1 million coin might already be in someone's pocket.